Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. The complete Python series that is going on, and this is another lecture on the complete Python series. And in today's class, we are going to cover the topic of loops in Python. All right, my dear friends. So, what do you understand by loops in Python? And how we can write the code and how they are really helpful in making the code really simple. So without any further delay, let's deep dive into what are the loops in Python. Yeah. So let me just tell you all what are the simple I can say what are these loops in Python. All right. So let me just tell you. Okay. So let me just tell you, my dear friends, like what are these loops in Python that we are going to discuss right now. Okay. So let me just share my screen with you all. All right. I hope it's getting visible to you all. All right. So let me just write down what is the definition of firstly, let's just understand what are these loops in Python. All right, so let me just tell you. Yeah. So what are loops? Okay. So let me just tell you all. Loop is, I can say, a loop is used to repeat a piece of code. Used to repeat a block of code, a block of code multiple times. For that reason, we use the loops. All right. So there are two main types of loop. Let me just tell you all. So there are majorly two types of loops. Okay. Two types of loops. As I can say that the number one is something I can say for loops. Okay. That are simply used when number of iterations is known. Okay, when number of iterations, I will tell you briefly about all this in the further detail. Okay, so let me just tell you these are used when number of, I can say, iterations is known. All right, and after that there comes, I could simply say that the another one is a while loop. All right, so let me just tell you about these while loops. These are used when condition based repetition is needed. Okay, these are simply used when condition based, I can say that, repetition is needed. I hope this will get pretty much more clear when we do it with the help of examples. Okay, so let me just write down the syntax for the declaration of the for loop. All right, so let me just tell you all. Okay, so it is something called as, you can say, for loop. Okay, so in this case I can simply say that it's like for and the variable, okay, in sequence. Okay, variable in the sequence, and then we can write over here what is our code block. Okay, so let me just tell you. Okay, so in this case I can say that for, I can say, I in range. All right, for I in range, let's say 5, I have to simply print the I. Okay, so let's just run this code in our IDE. Okay, so let me just create a new file named, I can say, loop.py. All right, so let's just run this code. I'm going to create a loop for I in range. Okay, so I'm writing over here range is simply, I could say that 5. Okay, and simply I'm in this case I'm going to print simply, I could say that I. All right, so now let me just run this code and let's see what output we are getting. So yeah, as you can see over here, I'm getting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as the output. I hope this is also pretty much clear to you all. So that is how we can get output in case of loops. Okay, so let me just discuss with you about the range function. Okay, so let me just tell you all about the what is this range function in Python? Okay, let me just tell you. So that is how I can say simply what is the meaning of this range function that is used over here. Let me just describe you briefly, all right? So let me just tell you, my dear friends, that all right. So my dear friends, let me just tell you about the range function in Python, okay? So how does this range function works? Let me just tell you about that, okay? So in this case, I can simply say that range can be simply written as, it's like start, then there will be stop, okay? And after that, there will be something called as step. So in this case, if I will write my range to be equivalent to 5, this simply in this case will be printed something like 0 to 4, okay? After that, if I will simply write over here, my range is equivalent to 1 and 6. So 1 will be my starting point and 6 will be my ending point, but the last letter 6 will not be included. So it will be printing 1 to 5, okay? After that, let's say I will write over here, like my range is simply, I can say that, let's say it is from 1, 10, and a step of 2, okay? So in this case, I can say that this is my start point, okay? This is my start point. This is my, I can say, stop point. And this point is something I can say that this is a step, okay? So in this case, I can say that simply the step will be of 2. So 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. These will be printed. I hope this is also pretty much clear to all of you. So let me just give you a few more examples that how we can add loops to the list, okay? So let's just create a list first, okay? So let me just write down a list function over here. So let's say it is fruits named list, okay? So in this list, I can simply say that, let's say I have included various fruits like apple, then I will write over here mango, and then I will write, let's say, cherry, all right? So I have written all these names, okay? And I will simply print for fruit in simply I could say that fruits, okay? I will simply print my fruit, okay? And this will simply print my fruit in Python. I hope this will be getting clear to all of you. Let's just run this code to see what output I'm getting. Yeah. So in this case, all my fruits are getting printed. So let me just show that to you. Okay, let me just move it a little bit. Yeah. So let me just show that apple, mango, and cherry, these things are getting simply printed. I hope this was also pretty much clear to all of you. That is how we can, apply the loops to the list in Python. So let's just move forward. So how we can apply the loop to a string, okay? So let's say for character in, let's say I'm writing over here the string to be hello world, okay? So in this case, I'm going to simply print the character, okay? Let me just print the character and let's see how I'm getting the output, okay? So in this case, I can simply say that this hello world is getting printed and with a space also, a space is left. I hope this was also pretty much clear to all of you. So that was all about, we have completed about the loops in Python, okay? So let's just move forward to the next part, okay? And the next part that we are going to do is something I could say that the while loops in Python, okay? So let me just show that to you, my dear friends. So let's say what is a while loop in Python. So let me just tell you that, okay? In case of while loop, it's something like while, and then there comes my condition, okay? Then there comes my condition. I hope this is also getting pretty much clear. And then over here, I can write over here simply my code block. All right, my dear friends. So let's say I'm writing over here simple piece of code for I is equals to 0, while I can say that I is lesser than 5, okay? While I is lesser than 5, and in this case I have to simply print my I, okay? I have to simply print my I, and then I can say that I plus equivalent to 1. So this will be getting added with each iteration. All right. So let me just show that this loop to you all. Okay, let me just run this piece of code for you all. So let's say for I is equivalent to 0. Okay, and then I'm writing over here while my I is simply, I can say, less than equivalent to 5. Okay, I have to simply print, in this case, let's say print I. Okay, and then I will simply write over here I plus equals to 1. Okay, so let's just run this piece of code and let's see which is getting printed. So yes, 0 to 5 is simply getting printed, and that is how we can run our while loops. I hope this is also getting pretty much clear to you, all of you. Okay, my dear friends, so let me just discuss with you about the next thing, which I could say that the infinite loop. Okay, my dear friends, so what are these infinite loops? So let me just tell you. So let's say it's something like while true. Okay, while the condition is true, it will simply print my hello. So let's see for how much time my loop runs. Okay, so my dear friends, let's just, let me just firstly write this piece of code in our Python, in our VS Code. Okay, so let's say that while true, it will simply print, okay, it will simply print, I can say that, hello. All right, my dear friends, and let me just run this piece of code, and this will be running infinitely without stopping. So I hope this was also pretty much clear to you. So that is how infinite loops works in Python. So I hope, my dear friends, you enjoyed the today's class. And yeah, so in today's class we discussed, everything basics about I can say that we discussed about everything about for loops and while loops, and I will be back here with another lecture in which I will be discussing with you all about the break statements and much more. So I hope, my dear friends, it was also pretty much clear to you. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and do comment in the comment section, like give your feedback so that we can also improve. And yeah, so till then, stay tuned for more videos. Have a great day. Bye bye.